All right, hi everyone, and welcome to the Alertus Server Winter 2026 release webinar. My name is Brooke Petrozelli, and I'm a training specialist here at Alertus. And today I'm joined by Sarah Gillum, another training specialist on my team, Eliza Saraki, VP of Client Success, Ben Brewer, Director of Product, Megan Lazambri, Product Specialist, and Gary Elgamil, Director of Software Engineering. We will be running through all of the new and improved features and functionalities of the newest version of the Alertus software, and we'll be sure to save time for questions at the end of the presentation. Please note that the Q&A functionality is also available during the session, so please feel free to utilize that feature if you prefer to submit your questions along the way. The team's contact information will also be available on the last slide, should you wish to follow up with any system-specific questions or needs. So during our time together today, we will cover our new features, which are exciting additions to our system, the functionality of our newest desktop client for Mac, improvements to our system, and special notices, including important announcements. So jumping in, when you log into your Alertus console for the first time after updating your software, you will see a pop-up screen that lists the newest features. There is a click here button that will provide a full list of the changes and upgrades, which we'll cover in today's presentation as well. So Sarah is going to take us through our new features, so I'll throw it over to you. Sarah, you are on mute.
Thank you for that. I knew I was going to forget to unmute myself at some point during this, but we'll move on to the next section of our presentation, which is the new features. So the new features we will be diving into today are the new inbound CAP API method, the new outbound AlertMedia integration, making our integration with AlertMedia bidirectional, and the MySQL replication beta feature. So we'll now go through each of these in detail, starting with the inbound CAP API method. So the inbound CAP API method is a new feature introduced in our summer 2025 update 3. It is a simple, secure way to connect other systems to your Alertus server. This new method does not require IP whitelisting, and this eliminates the need to pre-register the sending system's network address, streamlining the setup process. For security and authorization, the Alertus user role utilized for this connection must be specifically configured with the necessary permissions to receive CAP alerts via the API. To send an alert, an external system will perform an HTTP post to the specified URL for your Alertus system, including the alert information as raw XML in the body. Finally, the connection is secured using basic authentication, which confirms the sender's identity to ensure secure communication. And next up, we're excited to announce that our integration with AlertMedia is now fully bidirectional. So this means that in addition to AlertMedia being able to activate Alertus, which is our inbound capability, Alertus can now activate AlertMedia. So this new outbound capability significantly enhances the flexibility and reach of these integrated alerting systems. So this slide covers the AlertMedia inbound integration, which allows AlertMedia to activate an alert within Alertus. So to enable this, AlertMedia sends the activation via a common alerting protocol or CAP alert. And AlertMedia can use the new inbound CAP API method that we discussed on the previous slide. And the Alertus user role being used for this connection, once again, must have the correct configuration to receive CAP alerts through the API. And once the connection is set up, you will create a custom event trigger within Alertus. And this trigger is what monitors for a specific incoming CAP alert from AlertMedia, and upon receipt can automatically initiate a preset alert or other configured actions within your Alertus system. And these final steps complete the setup on the AlertMedia side for the inbound integration. You will need to create a custom channel in AlertMedia and configure it to send the CAP alert to your Alertus server. And ensure that you specify the payload format as cap/XML and pass your Alertus API credentials using basic authentication for secure communication. And now we're introducing a new alert service called AlertMedia Notification, which gives users the capability to activate AlertMedia directly from their Alertus system. Please note that this is a licensed feature, and before the first activation, a one-time setup is required in AlertMedia, where users must enable the AlertMedia API and input the necessary client ID and secret key to establish a secure connection. But you can then use Alertus's new AlertMedia alert service to activate AlertMedia from Alertus. In the AlertMedia alert service settings, you can specify the notification type in the API, which includes notification or read confirmation. The target formats indicate how the alert will be delivered, with accepted formats including email, text, voice, app, desktop, WhatsApp, and Teams. And you can also specify the groups within AlertMedia that you want to activate. And finally, the email subject field is available for users sending notifications via email. And if you're interested in enabling an AlertMedia integration with your Alertus system, your Alertus account manager can provide additional information and discuss next steps to configure the integration. And for our last new feature in this section, we're excited to announce a new beta feature in our Winter 2026 release, MySQL replication. This is a powerful new function built right into the server setup tool, designed to help you manage your database more efficiently and securely. So MySQL is the database where your Alertus system's critical data is stored. This new MySQL replication tool automatically creates a continuous updated copy of your primary database. This feature offers two major benefits. First, it's excellent for backing up your data. So if your primary database ever runs into an issue, you immediately have a secondary up-to-date copy that you can use to minimize downtime. And second, it makes switching servers much easier. So for those of you who maintain a spare server in case your main one goes down, having this continuously replicated database copy simplifies the process of failover and switching to a backup server. But now I'll hand it back over to Brooke to guide us through our next topic today.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Sarah. So our next item on the agenda is Alertus Desktop 7 for Mac. We are very excited to announce the launch of Alertus Desktop 7 for Mac. This new version brings many of the robust features previously available only on Windows and Chrome clients to our Mac users. So key functionalities now supported on Mac include desktop policies, panic button profiles, and USB panic buttons. Alertus Desktop 7 for Mac will initially be available to existing Alertus Desktop for Mac customers as an open beta. To get the build and begin your deployment, please contact our tech support team in the coming weeks. We also recommend starting with a small rollout to your Mac clients while we are still in beta. But diving into the features, Alertus Desktop 7 for Mac supports desktop policies, which is amazing news for our IT admin out there, as it allows for a centralized configuration. In your Alertus console, desktop policies are created and customized to give you control over the appearance and behavior of all Alertus desktop clients. As you can see on the screen, policies allow customizations in multiple tabs. Looking at the General tab, this is where you can configure fundamental settings for the client, including the desktop policy name that is used in the config file, the language of the client interface, of which we currently support English, Spanish, French, and Portuguese, the logging level for troubleshooting, and the device name for identification on the server. So this next slide allows you to see what this could look like on your Mac client. Once again, panic button profiles give your users the flexibility to activate a preset alert directly from their system tray icon or by using a custom keyboard shortcut. You can customize many aspects of each panic button profile to suit your organization's needs. So first is appearance, where you can customize the name, icon, color of the button. Next is alert assignment, where you can assign a specific preset alert that will be launched when the button is triggered. Then is security and confirmation, where you can choose to require confirmation before the alert sends if you are concerned about false activations. And last is visibility and access. Here you can determine if the button should show in the system tray or assign a keyboard shortcut for quick activation. All of this is managed and applied via the main desktop policy, allowing for centralized configuration by IT administrators. Alertus Desktop 7 for Mac also allows centralized configuration of physical USB panic button behavior. You can set up these buttons in the Alertus console by navigating to Configure System, Desktop Panic Buttons, and then USB Panic Buttons. Simply select Add USB Panic Buttons, and then choose the type of button you are configuring, which can be single button or multi-button. The final step is to assign a preset alert to each button, linking the physical button activation to a specific emergency response in your system. The screenshot here shows the configuration page for a single USB panic button. And this screenshot on the next page shows the configuration for a multi-USB panic button. Both setups are simple and convenient for Alertus administrators. Now, looking at two other key tabs available within Alertus Desktop 7 for Mac, the System Tray and About Screen tabs. The System Tray tab allows you to customize the contents of a System Tray pop-up, controlling what information your users see at a glance. And the About Screen tab gives you the ability to edit the text and image that appears on the About screen of the desktop client for branding purposes or to provide specific information. So there are some differences between the Alertus Desktop 7 Windows client and Alertus Desktop 7 Mac client, especially as the Mac client is still in beta. The current differences and limitations of Alertus Desktop 7 for Mac are listed here. So firstly, due to Apple's strict app security framework, customers must work directly with our tech support team to obtain a build with their desired configurations. This is not a self-service deployment like the Windows client, so the tech support team will be ready to help you with these builds soon. Please be aware of the features that are currently unsupported on Alertus Desktop 7 for Mac. Preset form and contact form are currently unavailable, but are scheduled to be implemented in a future version. Detect BSS ID, hotkey errors, lock screen alerts, and logon screen alerts are not supported as well, as Mac security does not allow access to these pages and information. We are also working on adding the full suite of accessibility features, including full keyboard support, high contrast mode, reduced motion, and voiceover, as well as the ability to show alerts on all monitors in a future release. So please be sure to reach out to the tech support team in the coming weeks to get the ball rolling on your Alertus Desktop 7 for Mac deployment. All right, back to you, Sarah.
Awesome. Thank you, Brooke. So in this next section here, we're going to focus on several key improvements and enhancements across the Alertus system. So this section will cover updates to our AlertAware integration, new alert display layouts, HPSA updates, enhancements to the locations page, new fields for CSV exports, and a new property for enabling auto updates for Wi-Fi panic buttons. So firstly, we've added a new field in the AlertAware custom activation alert service called Hide Confirmation Button. And this allows you to hide the large orange confirmation button that appears in the AlertAware activation messages. And setting this field to yes will ensure that the button is not visible to the user or recipient who is receiving the alert. And hiding the confirmation button can be useful if you do not plan to actively monitor or utilize the confirmation responses. And the next AlertAware integration update introduces a safeguard to completely eliminate the possibility of accidental circular activations. Currently, a circular activation scenario is only possible if a system is incorrectly configured so that an AlertAware one-touch alert activates an Alertus preset alert that then activates another or the same AlertAware one-touch alert that then sends it back to Alertus, and so on. Please note, customers who worked with Alertus personnel to configure their system should not have to worry about any of their alerts being set up in this way. But with this update, any preset alert that is activated by an AlertAware one-touch will no longer trigger any subsequent one-touch alerts, effectively ensuring reliable system performance without any unwanted repetitive activations. So for customers who have configured their systems independently without the expertise of an Alertus staff member, this safeguard completely eliminates the possibility of creating an activation loop, even with improper configuration. And to take advantage of this extra protection, you will need to upgrade your Alertus server. And next, the Alert Display. Alert Display is Alertus's digital signage solution that rotates through idle layouts to showcase customizable information when there are no active alerts. And we are very excited to announce two new idle layouts that can display events from a public Google Calendar called Calendar Day and Calendar Next Events. To utilize either of these new calendar layouts, you will need to provide both the Google Calendar ID and the API key. The Google Calendar ID can be found within the Integrate Calendar section of your Google Calendar settings, and the Google API key is available in the Credentials section of the Google Cloud Console, where the API must also be enabled. And this slide details the specific settings for the new Calendar Day idle layout. This layout is designed to list all scheduled events for a single day. When configuring it, you'll again need the calendar ID and API key, which were mentioned on the previous slide. And you'll also set the day offset to specify which day's events to display. So you'll put 0 for today, 1 for tomorrow, and so on. And finally, you can customize the appearance using the theme, selecting either dark or light, the view mode, selecting ticker or list, and you can also adjust the motion of the text with the scroll speed slider. And this is the Calendar Next Events idle layout, which is designed to list a specified number of the next upcoming events from a public Google Calendar. So to configure this layout, you will need, again, the calendar ID and API key, just like the calendar day option. And here you'll set the event count to determine how many future events will be displayed. And you can also customize the appearance, once again, with the theme, selecting dark or light, with the view mode, picking ticker or list, and you can also adjust the text motion using the scroll speed slider. And next, we're going to go into some of the HPSA updates that we're introducing. One significant improvement for HPSA systems is the new ability to assign priority levels to your CCUs. Communication Control Units, or CCUs, enable communication between the Alertus server and the high-power speaker arrays, or HPSAs. And priority values for CCUs can now be configured directly on the HPSA systems page of the Alertus console. This CCU priority enhances resilience and reliability, as the Alertus server will always attempt to connect to the CCU with the highest priority first. So this new control allows you to designate the most reliable CCU, such as the one with the best communication system, as your primary. So for example, if you have two CCUs and the radio on your primary unit, or CCU1, fails, then you can easily designate your second CCU, or CCU2, as the highest priority to ensure seamless communication continues. And now let's discuss an important improvement to the device activation report for HPSA systems, introduced in the Summer 25 Update 3. So previously, when an HPSA siren was activated, users couldn't see the status until after the activation was complete. But now for sirens using IP or cellular communication, such as radio and IP or cellular-only units, the activation status is viewable immediately as soon as the siren receives and reports the alert back to the server. So this provides real-time visibility, and once the activation cycle is over, the units are verified as normal and the report page is updated with the final status. And this slide covers another important update to our high-power speaker array, or HPSA systems, available with Summer 25 Update 3. So we've repurposed the CCU's door switch to act as a third panic button input, which we're calling aux-in 3. And this new input can be easily configured while editing CCU settings in the Alertus console, giving you more options for hardwired panic button placement and alert configuration. And next, we are introducing a small but significant improvement to the locations page, a new optional floor field. And this field allows you to specify the floor level of a building for better precision, allowing you to create more accurate location assignments for your devices. Since a single building can have multiple floors, you might want to create a unique location record for each floor within that building. And lastly, this slide highlights the new fields added to the CSV export feature in the Summer 25 Update 4. So now on the locations page, there's a new floor field. As we discussed on the previous slide, that's now included in the CSV exports. On the Wi-Fi panics buttons page, that page now includes charging and USB power status fields. And finally, the alert devices page now lets you export the IP address, MAC address, location name, and last communication information for your devices. But I'll go ahead and pass it back over to Brooke to discuss our final item on the agenda, which is our special notices.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Sarah. All right, so this is a critical announcement regarding one of our special notices, the end of life for Bootstrap 3. So to mitigate security vulnerabilities, we have successfully migrated the Alertus server from Bootstrap 3 to the more current Bootstrap 5. This migration affected all pages of the server, and we have thoroughly tested them to ensure all functionality remains exactly as it should. The main takeaway for users is that while they may notice minor visual differences on some pages due to the styling updates in Bootstrap 5, the core functionality of the Alertus server remains the same. So to demonstrate what the visual difference may look like for end users, here's a page in our middleware settings from our Summer 2025 release using Bootstrap 3. And this next page this next page will show the differences for using Bootstrap 5. All right, we have another important.
I think we might have lost a slide there. Sorry about that.
Yeah, we'll be sure to pull it back in by the end. But it's just going to be visual differences. All the functionality remains the same. So the next special notice is regarding the end of life for MySQL 8.0. MySQL 8.0, which we introduced back in 2024, will reach its end of life in April 2026. In preparation for this change, we have already upgraded the Alertus server in this new release to use the newer MySQL 8.4 version. If you've upgraded in the past 2 years, the Winter 2026 release installer process will be normal. However, if you haven't updated in the past 2 years, then it is a multi-step process, and we strongly recommend you work with our support team to ensure everything goes smoothly. So a bit more information on that. Before performing your server upgrade, it's important to first check which software version you're currently running. You can find your current software version on the Alertus console by hovering over or clicking the support tile on the bottom left. Once again, if you're running a server version older than 5.21.16, which was released 2 years ago, then we highly recommend working with Alertus tech support to perform the multi-step upgrade. Another important special notice is regarding the Bing Maps deprecation. Alertus will no longer support Bing Maps on our platform as of the end of this month. Customers who utilize mapping features in their Alertus console must upgrade to the Winter 2026 release to retain this functionality. The map functionality will be lost on the following key pages if the upgrade is not performed. So activation methods using the map interface to filter recipients, which is the screenshot that you see on the screen, the event dashboard, the lightning dashboard, the IPAWS dashboard, the locations page, and the Wi-Fi panic buttons page. We urge customers to upgrade as soon as possible and work with our tech support team if assistance is needed. And for our last two special notices, firstly, Facebook's API has been updated from version 18 to version 23 in the summer 2025 Update 3 release. Customers using the Facebook integration must update their system to ensure it continues to function fully. And secondly, due to recent changes by Google, the embedded video functionality in the desktop profile template no longer works with YouTube as of the summer 2025 Update 4 release. So the template has been updated to support the MP4 file format instead. So if you'd like to set that up, please reach out to tech support for assistance. So with that, we've wrapped up our special notices. And one more reminder before we jump into the Q&A section. So as we've mentioned many times during this webinar and as part of your licensing and support agreement, our team at Alertus Technical Support is here to help you with the upgrade process to ensure a smooth transition. To make scheduling easy, we've set up a dedicated booking link where you can choose a time that works best for you. And Sarah is now going to put that in the chat. So simply visit this link to book a slot with our support team. They'll guide you through the upgrade process, answer any questions you may have, and ensure that everything is set up correctly. So don't hesitate to reach out and schedule your upgrade. We're here to assist you every step of the way. In addition, you can also join us for an Alertus Power Lunch tomorrow, Friday, February 6th at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And in this informative 30-minute session, we'll guide you through the server update process and tackle any questions you might have. So don't miss, reserve your spot now at the events page. And we also have a specific registration link for this webinar that Sarah will add to the chat in addition. So as we wrap up the webinar today, I want to open the floor for any questions you might have. If you have any inquiries about the new features, integrations, or anything we've discussed today, now is the perfect time to ask. Whether it's about specific details or general clarifications, we're here to provide the answers you need. I know that some of you have been putting questions in the QA box already, which our team has been answering. So please feel free to continue doing so, and thank you all for attending. All right, so I'll throw it back over to you, Sarah, to go through any questions.
Awesome. Thank you, Brooke. I did just want to quickly go back to the Bootstrap 3 end of life slides here to show you what the updated UI will look like. So here's a screenshot of what it previously looked like with Bootstrap 3. And then here is what the new release will look like with Bootstrap 5. So as you can see, you might notice some slight differences, but you'll still have all of the same functionality on those pages. So with that, I will go ahead and take a look at the questions that have been in the chat. So let me pull that up here. Let's see, in the Q&A version, I see one that says, so to confirm, only server versions older than 5.21.x would require multi-step upgrade. Is that correct?
Sorry, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So I think it was our winter release 2 years ago, which is when we migrated to the newer version of MySQL. So if you're running a version older than that, you are requiring a multi-step upgrade there. So that was on that was a 5.21.16 version.
Awesome. And then let's see, we got a question, is the Mac functionality the same as the functionality that is currently available for Windows? I know we did have this slide that goes over some of the differences in features that are available currently between the Mac and the Windows versions. So you can see the current unsupported features here. Everything with an asterisk next to it is going to be implemented in a future version. And we do have updated documentation on the customer portal. And you'll also get the recording of the presentation today so that you'll have a list of all these features. And then I do also see a question asking if we do have any all articles on our knowledge base about the setup of the MySQL replication beta feature.
Yeah, so that's one we answered, I think, online. We're still working on finalizing that documentation. We want to, as it says, it's a beta feature, so we're taking some time with that. But if you're interested in that, please reach out to our support team, and we're happy to get you the information you need and to get you set up with that.
Awesome. And then I think we have one final question that just came into the Q&A box that says, what would you recommend for a beginner in alert system field or in the alerting system field?
Yeah, so I'm not exactly sure what this is related to, but I do know that we do offer a system-specific training. So either Sarah or I can set you up with a training that is specific to your system if you have that active licensing and support agreement. And we can give you a new user training all about how your system functions and discuss any functionality at that time as well.
So let's see, I believe that is all of the open questions that I'm seeing currently, but we will hang on the call for a little bit longer if you all want to continue putting in any questions that you have. But we definitely appreciate your time joining this webinar today. Let's see, there's a question, any documentation available for version 7 for Mac?
Yes, that should be available on our support site. So take a look at that. As I said, the actual application will be available later this month. So keep an eye out for that, and we can get you the latest version.
Awesome. I did also see another question come in. Is there an end of life for Alertus Activator? I'm still using that for panic buttons.
Yeah, so that's a good question. There's no quite end of life on it yet. We do definitely encourage customers to try out the newer versions of Alertus Desktop. They have a lot more features. They're bidirectional instead of unidirectional. In many ways, they're just improvements over completely. So if you are running an older version, you do not need to stop using it right now, but you might want to start thinking about migrating in the future to take advantage of the new features there. So the answer, I guess, is no, but perhaps in the future we may migrate off it.
And to be, for some clarification, that is the desktop activator functionality, not the activator mobile app. I don't believe there's an end of life for the activator mobile app currently, correct?
You're correct, Brooke. We
Thank you.
don't anticipate a near-term end of life for the Activator mobile app.
Thanks.
I'm not seeing any additional questions. Feel free to get any last ones in there. But again, thank you all for attending today, and hopefully we'll see a number of you at the Alertus Power Lunch tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. But we'll be going over the server update process during that webinar, so you'll get to see a live demonstration of the server upgrade. And then, let's see, saw a couple questions coming in. I saw, yeah, pro tip, log into help.alertus first. So yes, the customer portal is at help.alertus.com. So you'll want to make sure you have an account there and you're logged in so that you can access all of the documentation that we have available. And if you don't have an account yet in the Alertus customer portal, your account manager can definitely create one for you if we didn't already say that yet today.
Yeah, and it's also where the new server version does live for download. So to download the new version, you'll need access there as well.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, we have a question. When will the winter 2026 release notes be available?
They should be available already on the support site. So just search for Winter 2026 and the notes will be there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll put that in the chat now as well. And I think we can resend that Power Lunch registration in the chat as well.
Mm-hmm.
So there's Power Lunch, and I will pull out the Winter 2026 notes. Here we go. Yes, I did just put the release notes in the chat. If you are not seeing that or that link doesn't work for you or it's not coming up when you search for it, do let us know and we can look into your account to see if there are any issues there.
Sounds good. We did get another question coming in about what exactly will happen with the mapping feature if the upgrade is not complete before the end of February. I don't know if, Gary, if you'd want to elaborate on what might happen if the upgrade isn't completed, if you're using the mapping features.
Yeah, so unfortunately, Bing Maps is actually one of the reasons we're going off Bing Maps is really because they're end of life on the Microsoft side. So we want to get ahead of that. So yes, you might see if you think you're using the maps and you're not sure, you can reach out to Alertus support and we can help you out because some customers might not be aware. I wouldn't say a lot of our customers use maps necessarily, so you might not be affected. Um, but we generally recommend to be safe. You upgrade to this latest version so you get the other benefits as well. But we can help you assess if it should affect you or not. If you aren't using after that date, you're gonna see some licensing messages in the Alertus server console that will state that Bing Maps is not licensed because our license with Bing Maps will have expired by then. So that's what you might visibly see that, or users might see that in some cases depending on how the maps are used. So that's the effect.
Mhm. So yeah, so if you do have panic buttons that are pulling in a location, that most likely would be using the mapping feature. So I would recommend trying to get the upgrade done before that February date.
Yeah, and it's a little complicated here because we do use some other mapping functionalities too. So those ones would be unaffected, only the Bing map one. So depending on how old your Alertus server is when you upgrade it, if you're on a very old version, I would definitely recommend upgrading. If you're on a newer version, you might not see as much of an impact.
All right, so not seeing any other questions come in. Thank you all for coming today. And please reach out to us at trainingteam@alertus.com or the support team at support@alertus.com if anything is needed with the customer portal or with the updating your server. And we appreciate everyone on the Alertus side that was here today as well to help answer questions. And thank you all. This recording will be available soon. Have a good one.
Thanks. Take care.
Thank you.